Jealousy, first of all, starts with comparison, but then it thrives in a scarcity mindset that leads to fear. And I know it's super not easy for people to connect jealousy to fear, but if you look at it from this other lens of relationship, then it becomes super easy. It's sometimes hard to overcome jealousy as a whole, but when you break it down into its simple components, then you can tackle them one after the other. What's up, wonderful human? Welcome to Thrive Haven. I'm by name Blessing Wash, and I am super excited you clicked on this video. First things first, I must put a disclaimer out there that it is currently raining, so the place is a little bit dark, and I figured out it's a cozy time. Why not have a cozy podcast? So let's get into it. I hope you can still see me, even though the place is dark. So let's get into the business of the day. Have you noticed that you're more likely to be jealous of someone you know rather than someone you don't know? Think of the most successful person in the world to you. Are you jealous of that person? Most likely not. But think of the person you're jealous of or you were ever jealous of. Was that person as half as successful as the most successful person in the world? No. So why were you jealous of them? Chances are there's someone you are close to, you're related to, you have something in common, be it that you're from the same family, the same neighborhood, you attended the same school, your colleagues at work, you have the same friend group, or you are of the same age range. You just have something in common, you have the same something, and that was the genesis of the jealousy. So even though they were not as successful as the most successful person in the world, but that made them perfect candidates of your jealousy. And what is jealousy? Jealousy is this thing that stems out of comparison. You have something that you think you have in common, so you think subconsciously that you guys are supposed to be in the same level. Like, what makes you believe that? I don't know, but subconsciously we think that we should be on the same level with these people because we have something in common, we are the same. You see how some of our thoughts sound stupid when they actually come out of our mouths? That's why it's advisable to journal or say your thoughts out loud sometimes, because once you give them the stage, you realize that some of them don't really hold weight. Some of them are just plain stupid. Yeah. But if they are just in your head as thoughts, you'll just be hovering around, mingling with other thoughts, making noise, making you feel miserable. So I advise you journal or you say them out. As in this case, we are dissecting the case of jealousy. Probably you are currently jealous of someone, so let's dissect it together. Okay, so let me guide you through the thought process. You have something in common with this person. Think of what that is. And so somehow your subconscious mind is operating in a level that says you guys are the same with this person. That is what your subconscious mind is telling you. You may not know it, but that is it. So you are the same as this person. So now you compare yourself with them, only for you to find out that they are actually above you. That does not sit right with you. That cannot sit right with your brain. Like, you guys are supposed to be on the same level, but somehow they are now at a higher level. If there's anyone that should ever be at a higher level, it should be you, because you're always the hero in your dreams, right? But this is reality, and the reality is that they are ahead of you, and that's not sitting right with you. So you are now insecure because jealousy, first of all, starts with comparison, but then it thrives in a scarcity mindset that leads to fear. So now, because you are beneath them, you are scared that there's something wrong with you. You guys are the same. Then how come they are better off in life than you? You're probably giving your best shot at life, but your best is clearly not the best since they are above you. And that means there's something wrong with you. And because there's something wrong with you, there will always be something wrong with you that will make you to be below them. It's weird. It doesn't make sense, but that's just how your subconscious mind is interpreting this. Let me explain it better. You're giving your best, and this is where your best has brought you, but it's clearly not at their level. And if your best is all you have to offer at the end of the day, then that means even in years to come, you will still be below them because it's still your best they're going to give them. And if your best was not able to put you at the same level as them today, what are the chances that it can make you to be at the same level as them tomorrow? What are the chances? So you have that fear within you. And I know it's super not easy for people to connect jealousy to fear. But if you look at it from this other lens of relationship, then it becomes super easy to connect the dots. When do we say a person is jealous in a relationship? Is when that person is possessive. And why are they possessive? They are possessive because they are afraid they're about to lose their partner to someone else. Fear. Fear is the word to underline here. They are afraid of losing their partner to someone else, and now they're jealous of that someone else, whoever that someone else is. Outside of relationship, jealousy operates with the same software also, but it's just that we hardly realize it because we hardly sit down with our thoughts to dissect them into bits and pieces. It's sometimes hard to overcome jealousy as a whole, but when you break it down into its simple components, then you can tackle them one after the other. And now we've realized that okay, it first of all starts with you believing that you guys are the same, of which is a fallacy. You have something in common, but doesn't mean that you guys are the same. No two human beings are the same. But okay, let's assume you guys are so similar. Okay, you now compare. So there's comparison. You now have to deal with comparison if you're trying to overcome jealousy. So now, after comparison, you realize that there's a scarcity mindset that this thing thrives off of. You now realize that there's a scarcity mindset. You believe that okay, it is a competition, that's why you're comparing in the first place, and in a competition there's always a winner and a loser, and because they have won, that means you've lost. Because he has the girl, that means you don't have the girl. Because they now have a house, you will not have a house. No, you see the fallacy there? Because they are ahead in life, they will forever be ahead of you in life. No, but that is the basic assumption when it comes to jealousy. You may not be able to see it clearly, but it is somewhere in the subconscious because that is the software jealousy runs with. And so you have to notice this fallacy and label it as a fallacy. And then this comparison that is now meeting a scarcity mindset leads to fear because you're afraid. You're afraid that there's something wrong with you. You're afraid that you'll always be behind of that person in life. And so it brings about anger. If I am to give a definition to jealousy, I'm going to define it as a form of anger that is engineered by fear. A form of anger that its source is fear. That's my simple definition of jealousy. And so this fear comes as a result of a scarcity mindset. So now you have something to deal with, which is fear, a component of jealousy. You deal with comparison, you deal with scarcity mindset, you deal with fear, and then you have anger that stems out of that fear, which is the jealousy. That's how I see it. So now, just as with any other form of anger, As we all know, anger itself is not a sin, but dwelling in it is a sin, because when you dwell in it, it now leads you into doing more sinful stuff. It then leads you into doing more sinful things, right? So once you get this feeling of jealousy, it is a feeling, and feelings are meant to be felt. Feel it and then use it. Realize that it is a signal, it is pointing you towards an area of your life that you need to work on, you need to improve in. Most times than not, that is what jealousy is all about. It's pointing to you an area of your life you need to improve in, and it is also pointing to you the person you can learn from in order to improve. Isn't God wonderful? A thing as jealousy can be used for good. Use it, but when you don't use it, it uses you. When you use it, you get the best out of it. When it uses you, you get the worst out of it. So here is how to use jealousy. You use it as a marker pointing to you an area of your life that you need to improve in, you need to work on, and it's also pointing to you the person you can learn from. That is why our body, our biology was engineered in a way that we get that feeling when it comes to people that we know. We are jealous of people we know because we are more likely to learn from people we know. Back in the day, before Google, before social media, it was very hard, almost impossible to learn from someone that is far, far away from you. So there's no point of you being jealous of that person. And so your body brings out this feeling in regards to people that you can actually learn from, people that are close to you, people that you have something in common that it's easy for you to reach out to them or just observe them from a distance. Isn't God good? Seriously, isn't God good? So jealousy is not always a bad thing, but one thing I have to say is that it's not all the time that you're jealous that it means you have to do something about it, like to improve yourself in that aspect, because sometimes you may be using a very wrong skill to carry out the measurement. Remember the measurement of the comparison, that part of comparison? Yes, there's always a skill that you use in comparing yourself to another person, and sometimes that skill may be faulty. That may be a wrong skill for you to use, and in that case, that jealousy is not something you should do anything about. Let me talk in plain terms. So let's say, right, okay, we all have different definitions of success, or let me just say success means different things to us, everyone with what they define as success. My definition of success may not be the same as your definition of success. Your definition of success is in line with your values in life, with your purpose in life, and no two human beings existing at the same time on earth have the same purpose. So, because you have different purpose, you have different definitions of success. Your success may be similar to another person, but if you're to look at it closely, those things that make up that success, they vary a little bit, sometimes just in their position. Sometimes something that's at number 1 for this person may be at number 5 for the other person, even though they have the same, their structure of success has the same components, but those individual components occupy different hierarchy, different positions, different value. They have different value to these different individuals. So now, without wasting too much time on this point, what I'm trying to say is that if this thing you are jealous of this person for is at number 2, is holding the second ranking in their list of priorities in life, in their definition of success, this thing is on top. Whereas in your definition of success, this thing is at number 9. It only makes sense that they're getting more out of that thing in life than you. It just makes sense because they have more value on it, they have placed more value on it, they're doing more, they're giving more to it than you. It is at number 9 position in your own list of important things that make up success. In theirs is holding number 2. It makes sense. And so it's not something for you to now start putting so much effort into. You're supposed to put so much effort into what is holding the first position, second position, third position in your own definition of success, and they are supposed to do the same. And so just appreciate them, appreciate their success in that aspect of life. That is the best thing you can do at that moment. But in a situation where you carry out this thing that is number 2 in their definition of success, and you pick out what is also in number 2 position, in second position in your own definition of success, and you see that they are doing better in that thing than you are in whatever is holding second place in your list of things that define success in your life, then that is the situation, that is the time you need to rise up and do something about it. Or if it so happens that this thing they're great at or they're good at is also your number 2, while it's also their number 2, but they're doing better than you, then of course you should do better. You should learn from them. That is you using jealousy and not allowing it to use you, because it is a feeling. You're meant to feel it, and it is there for a purpose. The purpose it is there to accomplish is for you to be able to realize an aspect of your life you need to grow in, and the person you can best learn from. That's just it. And that is how you overcome jealousy. When you overcome something, it doesn't use you, but you can be able to use it because you are the master now. So that is my desire for you and I, that we become masters of this feeling called jealousy. We don't sit in it. It is just an alarm clock, just as with fear. Fear most times is also just an alarm clock buzzing, telling you this is an important thing. This is important. So get up, prepare for it. Don't be sleeping. That's just it. But when you refuse to get up and off the alarm clock, it continues to buzz and buzz and buzz, and it will at the end of the day hinder you from focusing on anything that you are doing. So with jealousy, you're supposed to do the same thing. Use it and off the alarm clock. Don't allow it to be buzzing, 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 because when you allow it to continue to go on and on, it uses you. You're no longer using it, so it uses you. At every point in time, it's either you're using it or it is using you. And when it is using you, as I said before, that is when you get all the worst things that can come out of jealousy. And most times, it is more of a disservice to you than to the other person, because now you miss out on the opportunity of improving in that aspect of life that you're supposed to improve in. You're missing out on that opportunity to learn from that person that is in a very good position for you to learn from. And there are so many other things, and let me bring out this story that most of us are familiar with. If you are a Christian, of course, you know this situation where Jesus was doing so much great things, but he wasn't able to do as much in his hometown. Why? Because the people had so much unbelief. In fact, the Bible recorded it that Jesus was amazed at their unbelief. Do you know what it means to be amazed at something? Most times it's good things that make us amazed. Bad things don't have that weight. But in this situation, their unbelief, the height of it was so much that he was amazed by it. And why there's so much lack of faith? Because of this thing, jealousy. They were familiar with him, and it became over familiarity, as a matter of fact. And so they were like, is this not Yeshua, the son of the carpenter? Are these not his brothers? Are his sisters not with us? And so, like, they have the same village, they are from the same place, they grew up together, they have something in common. He should be like them. They should be the same, but somehow he knows more than them. He's talking with so much authority, and so they were afraid. Like his greatness was exposing their weakness, as a matter of fact. And that's the classic case of jealousy. Sometimes when you see the greatness of that person, you interpret it to mean that it is mirroring your weakness. Remember the scarcity mentality that I mentioned? So now there's something lacking in you, you're not enough. And so fear comes in. And in their own case, they're afraid that there's something wrong with them. And on a normal day, we know that fear and faith, they're in two opposite sides of the post. Like they cannot have a middle ground. Where there is fear, there cannot be faith. So it just makes sense that they had so much unbelief. They lacked faith to a very high degree because they were afraid, and his greatness is pointing to their weakness, and they became angry. And that anger is called jealousy, as I said earlier, right? So they got jealous, and they couldn't just benefit anything from him. What they were supposed to get from him, they couldn't get it. They were in a very good position to get so much from him than any other person, but they just could not, because rather than using the jealousy, it was the jealousy that used them. And it is the same thing in our day-to-day lives too. This reminds me of the recent story of Ifunaya and her father. The story blew up around Father's Day, right? So if you are in Nigeria, of course, I believe you've heard about it. A classic case of someone that walked abroad and decided to come back home after his retirement to stay in his village here in Nigeria. Terrible idea. I hope this story is making people to realize what family really mean. Who is your family? Who is your first family, as a matter of fact? Because most people here in Nigeria, they believe, most men, but let me say people in general, believe that the family their parents give birth to them in, that family that it is them and their sibling, that is their first family. And then the family that they created by themselves, that's them, their spouse, and their children, is their nuclear family. It's not their second family, because that doesn't sound right. Like, no, it's taking second place. No, it doesn't sound right. So they don't call it second family, they call it just nuclear family. That is what it is, right? But if there is a first family, then that means there is another family that is not first, and whatever is not first is second or third or any other number below first. That is just it. You may not be able to say it out because you know that there's something wrong with it. It is not supposed to be below one, but somehow you did not give it the first position that's supposed to take, and so it automatically becomes second, even though you're not calling it that. So you just call it nuclear family and not your first family, but it is what it is. So this man left his nuclear family abroad and started to come to his first family in the village to spend his old age with them. And remember, the jealousy thrives among people that have something in common, among people that are familiar with each other. So now, I'm not saying that his immediate family cannot be jealous of him. Of course, they are in a very good position to be jealous of him. But the thing is, they are super close enough to him to not just be jealous, but their position easily directs them, or it makes them easily lean towards using the jealousy, because they are close enough to easily learn from him. They are his nuclear family. They can easily learn from him. He's their father, and so therefore it is thereby just naturally leaning them towards using the jealousy rather than allowing the jealousy to use them. But in the case of the extended family, of which now to him they are his first family, They are close enough to be jealous, but they are not close enough to easily learn from him and lean towards the good side of jealousy rather than the bad side of jealousy. So he lived abroad, and all this while they were communicating with him, right? So, but they were not very close to him to see the full picture. Just as with us and influencers these days, we are close enough to see their life, but we're not super close enough to see the full picture. So all we are left to see is just the glams and the edited reality, right? So in his own case, his family were just seeing, his extended family were just seeing the good life, the good parts of life. Like they were seeing someone that is wealthy, their brother that is wealthy, that's all they see, but they're not seeing the struggle. You are in America, like what struggle are you going through? Like it can never be as I was here in Nigeria. That's their mindset. They are not there to see him struggle. And now that he's done working for his money and it's time to just enjoy the fruit of it, he is now close to them. All they see is how he has been better than them. And it is a competition, right? Now that you're weak, is now that you're coming to them. Oh, now is the time for them to match up or even be better than you. All this while you've been better than them, you've been living life, enjoying. Now that you're weak, is now that you're coming to them. All right, now is their time to match up, and that's what they did. I'm not excusing their actions in any way. I'm just saying that this is human psychology. This is just pure human psychology. But if you have the Spirit of God in you, the Spirit of God will help you lean towards using the jealousy rather than allowing the jealousy to use it. Because first of all, it's a command that you should not dwell in that anger. Remember, jealousy is a form of anger, right? You should not dwell in it. You should not allow it to use you. Rather, you should use it. But in their case, they allowed the anger to use them. And as a matter of fact, when the daughter came, that's when Ifunaya came, they were super angry. You can even see they had so much hatred for her that they were calling her names. That's just to show the anger they were harboring against not just him, but his family. And it's just a bad decision for you to spend your life somewhere else. And all what these people are saying is the good side, the easy part of your life. They're not close enough to see the hard side. And then you now decide at your weak age to come to them. You are weak, but you have money and you want to spend your time, your old age with them. It's a bad idea based on human psychology. That is what I'm saying. It's a bad idea. And I'm not pushing blames on him, but I'm just saying this so that others will learn, our fathers will learn, even our mothers, everyone should learn that while you were unmarried, they were your first family, but now that you're married, your nuclear family is your first family. And the issue of jealousy may still arise in the nuclear family, but they are in a better position to use the jealousy for good rather than for the jealousy to use them for bad. Unlike the case of extended family members, typical case of village people, right? They're close enough to see you as one of them and to see the good parts of your life, but they're not super close enough to see all the struggles and to also learn from you. And so jealousy uses them at the end of the day rather than them using jealousy. Case closed. That is all I have to say about that. Well, let me quickly add this. After all has been said and done, if you still find it hard to overcome the feeling of jealousy, my final advice to you is that you should not just pray for yourself to overcome it, but you should pray for the well-being of that person you are jealous of. Personally, if I am angry at someone and I have tried all possible means to forgive the person and get rid of that bitter feeling to no avail, I resort to praying for the well being of the person, and I have come to realize that it is super impossible to remain bitter at someone that you're consistently praying for their well being. Jealousy is a form of anger, right? And jealousy is saying you should put Kalek in their journey, you should be the source of their downfall. Well, do the opposite. By all means, never allow jealousy to use you. That is the point of this video, right? So do the opposite of what it is saying you should do. Whatever jealousy is saying you should do, do the opposite. Pray for their well-being. Be a part of that success story. If you are jealous of the success story, be a part of it, and you realize that you're no longer jealous of that success story because you are a part of it. And an easy way to be a part of their success story, of course, is by praying for their well-being and also complimenting them when you see them. But just start with the prayer first, and then you realize that the anger is subsiding and you are now able to meet them and applaud them for the good things they are doing. And when you appreciate that person and you participate in their success, it reduces the potency of that jealousy to the barest minimum, to the point that it can no longer use you. Sorry for the super dim beginning. As I said, it was raining and it's still raining, but it's just that place is a lot brighter now. So please, I hope that the poor visuals did not stop you from getting the point that you're supposed to get. So if you reached this point of the video, I'm super grateful, and I would love for you to like it. In case you've learned something from this video, please like the video, share it with someone that you think will find it helpful. Leave your comments down below so I can know what you're also thinking about this issue of jealousy. And until next time, why only succeed when you can try? Bye bye.